Hello, friends. So, in this lecture, we will try to understand hypothesis in sociological research. In past, UPSC has asked multiple questions on hypothesis. The one question was uh, asking about is hypothesis an interrelationship between two variables, and they had asked about a specific circumstances, that is poverty and illiteracy. And another important question asked by UPSC was about the importance of hypothesis and the sources of hypothesis. So, different questions have been asked on hypothesis in sociological research. In this lecture, we will try to comprehensively address this topic so that if any question comes in future about hypothesis, you will be able to handle it aptly. So, first of all, what is hypothesis? So while you will be writing the introduction of any question related to hypothesis, use the statement or the definition given by Lundberg. So he says that a hypothesis is a tentative generalization, the validity of which remains to be tested. That is, if you want to give theory about, say, for example, poverty and illiteracy, which was asked by UPSC. So poverty here will be an independent variable which will increase and decrease, and then you will analyze, is it impacting the rate of illiteracy? Is more poverty means more illiteracy? So you will have a generalized, a tentative generalization in which you will write that more poverty leads to more illiteracy. Now this generalized statement will be tested through sociological research. Either it will be proven right or it will be proven wrong. If it is proven right, then it will become the part of theory formulation. Otherwise, the contradictory will become the part of theory formulation. Now, what it is, we will try to break hypothesis more and go a bit deep into it. So, as it is said that we do not know while we formulate hypothesis that it is correct or incorrect. First thing. The second, the hypothesis will decide your path to formation of theory. How you will conduct a particular research, which data is relevant, which data is irrelevant. Otherwise, without hypothesis, you will be collecting a lot of meaningless data, or the sociological research will become directionless. And after collecting data, you will have to filter out. You will realize that many of the data collected was not at all relevant for this purpose. So it also limits the scope of a research, which can become unmanageable if there is no hypothesis. So it makes the research manageable. Now, which type of hypothesis is ideal for a sociological research? So it must be clear. It should not be ambiguous. You should not write a statement which has ambiguous meaning, which can have multiple meanings, or which is not clear, which is not precise. It should not be a long statement. It should be precise statement which need to be tested. And the hypothesis which you are formulating should be testable. It should not be something vague. Say, for example, you want to conduct research on I and me. So the biggest criticism of Med and his theory was that you have given a psychological theory which cannot be tested. It has made sociology vague. That means it is not testable. Okay. So it should have some empirical reference to be tested. Example, as I have shown you, as I have explained you previously, the question was asked about poverty and literacy. So poverty will be independent variable, which we will vary and see its impact on illiteracy. The testing process will require data collection. The data will be then statistically analyzed and comparatively studied. And then by gathering empirical evidences, a researcher can determine whether the hypothesis holds true or not. Okay. If the data supports the hypothesis, it can be considered as a valid explanation for the relationship between poverty and illiteracy. Now, what are the importance of hypothesis in research? So first of all, it is a starting point. If you do not have hypothesis, then you will not be directioned. You will hover around many particular areas, and you will collect lots of irrelevant data as suggested before. It also acts as operating tool for theory, means it enables the researcher to proceed on correct line of study. Second, which type of data should be collected? P.V. Young has stated the use of hypothesis prevents a blind research and indiscriminate gathering of masses of data, which may later prove to be irrelevant. Okay, so you are collecting a number of data which is not relevant, as I had explained before. It also allows testing theories. Without hypothesis, there cannot be any theory which can be formulated, because you need to have some basic ground on which you will be testing. Okay, and to make this the basic ground, we need to have lots of prerequisite as well that we will be studying in later slides. That means how a hypothesis can be formulated, or what are the sources of hypothesis that we will see. The formulation of hypothesis in sociological research, it also fosters objectivity and reduces biases. Okay, so you have formulated a particular statement. On that line, you will be conducting the research. So it ensures a degree of objectivity, and it also tries to eliminate any kind of preconceived notions that a researcher may have. And it also gives a systematic framework for conducting research. Now we will see what are the sources of hypothesis. The first will be experience and creativity. While you conduct a sociological research in any particular area, the researcher gets to know what are the impediments while conducting a research in tribal area, while conducting a research in Naxal affected area, while conducting a research in gated society. So all of these personal experiences and creativity will help him or her to develop a good hypothesis, which will navigate through all these social problems. Then a researcher may have background knowledge, otherwise he or she would not conduct research on a particular topic. So that background knowledge of existing theories, prior research, will also be useful. And third is the versatility of intellect. Like then and there, you are trying to apply mind and deriving a meaningful hypothesis, rejecting a faulty hypothesis. It provides a kind of creativity during the research and some existing scientific theory. So it can be a fertile source for hypothesis formulation. Analogies. Analogies means a similar condition happened earlier, so that can be also utilized in the formation of hypothesis. And the last will be the culture. So in a particular culture, in a particular location, what are the behavioral patterns? What are the practices that will help develop a kind of hypothesis for a specific location, or for a specific time frame, or for a specific age group? If you are conducting research on Generation Z, or you are conducting research on elderly, you will need to have that cultural sensitivity or knowledge before forming or constructing a hypothesis. So it is crucial to consider the cultural context. So these are sources of hypothesis. And I have made a table for you so that you can revise the role of hypothesis within a second. So after listening to this video, go through slide yourself, and then in the last slide, you can revise everything together. So I hope this lecture was helpful for you. Take care. Best wishes.